It's 8:30 Eastern Time, the only time zone that Quentin Tarantino does not think is weak sauce. And that means it's time for C2C Live, brought to you by CampusToCanton.com. On a breaking news version of tonight's show, I mean, I don't know if we laugh or cry or what at this Sherrone Moore stuff, but we're going to talk about that. Notre Dame's reaction to missing out on the CFB playoff, and we make some predictions as to the rest of the season. All that and more right after the stinger. Chris, I guess you didn't get my reference in the
Not at all, no.
Tarantino's been taking shots at people. I guess he did some big interviews lately, and he had said that There Will Be Blood is the best movie ever made, except for Paul Dano, whose acting was weak sauce.
Yeah, I had no idea. I was like, I don't know. Am I so out of the loop here? But I guess
you need to read People Magazine, is what I'm gathering from this.
I do.
Where all my material comes from.
Pick one up at Kroger tomorrow.
Perfect. Yeah, you do that. All right. Matt Bruening, Chris K, Austin Nace here. We talk about this all the time. The news cycle sometimes giveth, sometimes taketh, and tonight it gaveth in a big, big way because we don't even have all the information yet. And the Sherrone Moore stuff went from let's all make a joke to kind of potentially not something that we want to joke about. Yeah. But I think just right off the bat, let's talk about what we do know, which is that Sherrone Moore has been fired for cause as of this evening at like 6 Eastern or right around there. They made very clear in the press release Michigan did that this was about an inappropriate relationship that he had with a staffer. There's some other attached rumors potentially that we don't need to dive into, at least until we get some confirmation. I mean, Chris, as Colin mentioned, all of your schools have had their coaches fired, but this is probably the most surprising of the trio here.
Yeah, this one came out of left field. Like my mom sent me a screenshot. I was like, "Oh my god, my mom!"
That's how you know it's bad.
My mom got by some random tweet or something, but it was Yahoo. She gets Yahoo Sports alerts on her phone, like old school. Like, anyways, it was very shocking. What's funny is I'm not even like from a pure football perspective, not bummed at all. Like to me, that I'm like, okay, cool. Like I kind of midseason was hoping he would leave anyways, so. I think the only question and one that I want to definitely ask you guys is like the impact of recruits in like, does NIL change that? Is there any angle that says like, hey, like since signing day happened the other day, like is Michigan to be okay from a recruiting standpoint? But from like a pure on the field football standpoint, like maybe they could move to the 21st century offensively, which would be fun to see potentially.
Do you think Michigan will go a different direction? Like, thematically, we talk about this all the time. When a school breaks up with a coach, quote unquote, you tend to rebound with kind of whatever the exact opposite of them is. I mean, do you think they're looking for more? They'll go that direction.
Well, Harbaugh was hired because he was former Michigan guy and also like an incredible option. And then Moore was just hired because he was the guy that was there. Because he was there, right, during that run. And he was like pretty well regarded. I think he does a lot of good things well. Like I think offensive line recruiting, there's some angles there that he's very, very strong at. And then other areas where he's obviously not. So like, I don't know. I think they just go for the best coach that they think they can get. I'm not really sure Michigan can be picky about what style that they choose from. I don't think, and I think the whole Michigan man thing is probably at this point overplayed. Plus, like, who are your options of Michigan men if you wanted to do that? So I think they just go for the best option, period.
You mean there isn't just like a conveyor belt of Michigan men that when they're done with one, they just go to the next one?
Well, it didn't work out for them for a while, so they're glad they got off that train. And then I guess Harbaugh, it didn't matter. It was just the best option, period. So it worked out doubly that way.
Matt, we have both sides of the coin here as
we do.
You are an Ohio State fan.
Am I? I'm a fan of college football. We've talked about this before.
What are your thoughts?
I mean, it's interesting, right? I heard Chris said right there that midseason he was kind of hoping Moore would leave the team. I actually was kind of impressed with what he did on the season. If we're talking about just from a pure coaching sense of coaching that team to 9-3, their quarterback, who again I think is phenomenal, Bryce Underwood. I think give him a couple of years and he's going to be one of the best quarterbacks in college football. Maybe even just a year. I believe he only threw 9 touchdowns on the year, and they went 9-3. Like that's pretty impressive overall. When it comes to, I mean, the one thing I'll say about all the off-field stuff, I as much as I want to make jokes about certain things and everything, I do think it's a very serious issue. If some of the reports about
he's been arrested
phone calls,
subsequently.
Yes, well, he's been arrested for reports of him possibly doing some harm to himself, which is a very serious issue. So that's where I don't
technically was detained. By the way, I don't know if he was arrested.
Sorry, yeah, we should say detained. Yeah, that's what I believe what the report says. So that's not something we should joke about at all in any sense. So like from that part of things, like it is even from a Buckeyes fan, this is not something you want to see regardless. From a Michigan standpoint, I don't know what they do. Brett's in the chat saying that he heard they might go after Brian Kelly. I mean, that part is amusing to me, especially because of my thoughts on Brian Kelly as a head coach. I think you would much rather have kept Sherrone Moore had all this not happened. I don't think it affects the recruiting class much. I mean, they have a very high ranked recruiting class right now. I believe it's the 11th. It was, I believe, like 10 or 11. I don't know that many of the recruits flip because I don't know how many of them it was really because of Sherrone Moore. I don't think they lose Underwood because really, at least based on all the reporting, I don't know if it was ever confirmed, but based on the quote unquote rumors and everything, the only reason he really came to Michigan besides it being like his hometown school was the money he got. I imagine that he will still be getting paid the amount of money and everything else he got besides that as well will allow him, or I shouldn't say force him, but probably keep him at Michigan. But I mean, we'll see. I mean, it's late in the process for Michigan to lose their head coach at this point. I mean, especially with all the teams they've hired. I mean, I think the Matt Campbell's technically, I don't believe he's officially signed with Penn State yet, correct? But like they're working on a deal. I don't know. Last I saw, I think they were still working on a deal. I could be wrong. Maybe he officially signed. I mean, I don't think that's a great hire, if I'm being honest.
They did the presser, so I would imagine if they did a presser,
it's probably official.
It actually is true that sometimes these deals take a few months to actually work out.
Yeah,
but they have
Sherrone Moore in general.
I was going to say in some instances into the season.
Yeah.
I've heard that's not terribly uncommon.
Yeah, but I mean, my point is, like, in Colin, when you listen to this, I promise I'm not trying to take shots at your beloved Penn State here. Like, that's where Penn State was going. I think Matt Campbell's a fine coach, but like, if that's who they went and got this late in the process, I'll be very curious to see who Michigan is able to bring in. Because, I mean, they've got to start making that move quickly, I would think. I mean, to try and keep, again, as much of that recruiting class as possible. Because now at this point, all those players can hit the transfer portal. I don't think we've heard of anybody yet. Again, I don't expect there to be a mass exodus out of Michigan.
Yeah, I don't know that I would either until we see who they hire. I guess in terms of, does this kind of restart coaching carousel that we had kind of settled down? Do you think this is a case where I think there's two routes you can go here. One is it's already too late. Let's do a Band-Aid and we'll revisit this next year. The other option is we shoot for the moon. We go talk to Kalen DeBoer. We go talk to, who is a Midwest guy. Didn't he make his like original hay at like Grand Rapids or like some Midwestern school, if I remember correctly? I mean, do you, Matt Campbell, like, do you kind of go that route and kind of restart the carousel? I think those are kind of the two options here, right?
Yeah, I think they try to go big time and see what happens with DeBoer. But the problem with DeBoer is that it likely isn't going to happen unless they lose. I think the whole DeBoer possibility is because I think rumors and what people are saying is that he doesn't necessarily like kind of like how the fan base has treated him, all things considered. But, he beat Auburn and then he had the down game against obviously Georgia. If he beats OU and maybe wins another game, I think Michigan's out of the picture just from he doesn't hate his life anymore down south. And also, like, would Michigan wait 2 to 3 weeks to do it? Do you think there's a world where DeBoer would take the job before the playoff game or before a second playoff game?
No.
I mean, is there a world? Yes, because wasn't he interviewing at Alabama before the national championship? Isn't that what Washington fans were so upset about at that point in time? At least that was the accusation. I didn't follow it that closely.
I don't remember that specifically. I mean,
I don't think he'd accept it, but there could very well be contact before then.
Are we overlooking the like best case scenario for everybody here, including Chris's update of the offense? Someone who has not gotten poached away yet. Why not go after Kenny Dillingham? Just throw the bag at him.
That would be an incredible hire. You know how we all are fans.
I would hate it, but it would be an incredible hire.
The cover 3 guys were acting like that wasn't like it was too big of a step up for Kenny Dillingham. I don't really understand that.
I don't buy that.
That argument.
I don't either.
I saw an interview that he did it either happened this morning or earlier this week, and basically he had said that his agent, he told him like, I'm not interviewing or I'm not talking to anybody about any jobs. Like, I'm where I want to be. And this whole season, I never once talked to anybody about a job. If that's the case, and he's one of the coaches I think I actually believe when he speaks, I would imagine he's not possible at all. I mean, that would be like incredibly great hire. The other name, I think that, like I was talking to Mike Bainbridge, and he had said Jed Fish at Washington. Now, I think Jed Fish, to me, if you'd have said that like 2 months ago, I would have been like, yeah, I think that's good, but I'm not like super excited about it. I think all things considered where we stand now, that would be kind of like with Matt Campbell with Penn State, like the best option there is, but I'm not sure how excited I am about it.
Yeah. I mean,
do we not like the Matt Campbell hire? Did I miss that? Or at least like aren't like enthused?
I think you were out on that episode.
It's fine. Again, it's fine. No, we actually never talked about it.
Oh.
It's fine. Like, I don't think it's anything game changing.
Well, I mean, no. I mean, I don't know. I think it was as good of a hire as they were going to make. So
I agree. I think they went from here. Where's my camera at? To here. Like, I don't think they.
I don't think he's better.
Like James Franklin.
I agree.
He's better James Franklin. So like, it just felt with all the stuff they did all that just to pay for another James Franklin.
Yeah,
like I know
that's how I look at it too. Yeah.
Colin defended him because of the bringing Iowa State to relevancy, which there is some credibility, there's some validity there, but at the same time too, they didn't really do a whole lot with it. He also averaged maybe like 7-8 wins a season. So like if bringing them from the dead to win 7 games is like what you're looking for, then I don't know. That doesn't feel like the greatest hire. And yeah, Felix game recognized game for sure.
He says A&W root beer, the 102 of Pops, which Midwestern guy right there.
Right there.
101 Fago Red. What about RC Cola? How do we feel about RC Cola?
We don't see that down here.
It's good stuff. It's good stuff. Grew up drinking that with my grandfather. That was his favorite. Is that it on Sherrone Moore? I don't know.
I mean, what do you think? You posed the question of like, do they do it just a stopgap or do they go big? I mean, Austin, what do you think? What would be the wise choice, maybe?
I mean, I think in any situation like this, you have to at least shoot your shot. With Underwood and some other guys there that you've already committed some money to, that seems to make sense to me. I think the interesting thing is going to be like a lot of these guys have already extended and like re-upped and increased their buyout a decent amount because of the Penn State stuff. So anybody, like any of those names that you were thinking of, can just be crossed off the list immediately. Can also cross probably Lane Kiffin off. I don't think he would have been an option anyway. Like you can just kind of go down that list of guys that have already, shifted, and that does take a lot off the table. I do think, maybe a pivot for an NFL guy could make some sense too, but I don't know who that would be. So
there was a name that's really interesting that was thrown around. Jesse Minter, the former defensive coordinator.
He's got a show cause.
I think for 5 more days.
No, until like April.
Really? I think it expired. I thought I read that it expired.
I think it's April 2026 is what if I am correct. So
maybe Google Gemini.
I also don't know, like he's done a good job this year. I don't know. That feels like a step backward in career development. But if you're Michigan, I think your next hire has to be not one of those 3 guys. Like
you probably need to get away from that
You have to.
Group of coaches. This ESPN article also says like Manny Diaz or Tommy Reese as other options.
The Tommy,
already mentioned.
we have to talk Tommy Reese. We've never talked Tommy Reese on the show. Tommy Reese is a shitty coach. I don't understand. He just must kiss so much ass in these interviews because he gives names for all. He worked at Alabama. He's in the NFL. He gets named for all these jobs. Like this dude fails everywhere he is and somehow tumbles into a better job. I do not understand the Tommy Reese stuff. I would not hire Tommy Reese to walk my dog. I do not understand this. Do not understand.
What was it? The year he was with Alabama was one of their worst years of offenses. I mean, the Cleveland Browns are what now? 3 and something. Sure, that's not all his fault, but they weren't good last year either. So I don't get that either. What you guys mentioned NFL guy? Why again? Just crossing off crossing all our T's and dotting all our I's here for our boy Chris K. Why not go Todd Monken? He's from, or he started out in that area, right? It was like Grand Valley. He was at Eastern Michigan at one point. Like,
was he?
I believe he's still in the NFL right now. I mean, what he did with that Georgia offense, like Georgia's offense has never looked the same since then, would completely change the way Michigan, at least you would think, runs their offense. So that'd be a great hire for Bryce Underwood. They need to get some wide receivers, but I think it'd be a good thing for him. Why not go throw some money at him if you can't go get Dillingham? So one thing I have to say about Dillingham, I understand that he said all that, but money talks. At some point, if they come up and give you a certain amount of millions, you might be like, know what? I do love Arizona State, but
you don't think Florida or any of those guys offered something crazy? Or not crazy enough, baby?
I don't know how those type of, like, if Dillingham tells his agent, I don't want to negotiate with any of these people, I guess in good faith, the agent, like if Florida calls and just says like $8 million and then hangs up real quick, I'm assuming it's like a lawyer that gets like a deal proposed. They have to at least tell their client it. Like I'm assuming that has to take place, but I don't know the mechanics behind that in terms of, what that looks like. I really don't know.
Who would be the stopgap option? Who would be the guy? What's that?
Poggy.
Biff Poggy at Charlotte. I mean, I know that's different worlds, but Biff Poggy at Charlotte was a joke.
Well, it's just 1 year.
Could you really risk doing that for a year? It's different to do 2 games in the beginning of the season. It's different to do a bowl game than a full season with this superstar potential quarterback making, you have a Marshall receiver that was productive and like keeping things together for the next guy. That feels like you run the risk of them just bailing for the next guy anyways.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know that can you go outside higher for a Band-Aid? Unless it's like
Stanford
somebody
did it. Does anybody have a connection who's an old NFL coach?
It's Frank Reich who had coached at Stanford. Like you have to dip into your pool of guys that have previously worked there, and you can't talk to all the guys that have been there most recently. So you kind of have to start going backwards in the Rolodex a little bit.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Return of Rich Rod.
You're asking. You're asking.
Imagine.
It's a tough one. Let's pivot because I think we were probably going to lead off the show with this tonight, and then we were, this fell into our lap. So why not? As you may or may not have heard, the college football playoff is set, and Notre Dame is not among the 12 teams that was invited to participate. In response, Notre Dame's athletic director has done the radio, TV, podcast circuit all week, rallying against the decision. The fan base is up in arms. They are not playing in the bowl game that they were supposed to head to. I mean, I have thoughts, but Matt, I'm sure you have some too, and I bet they're probably not that different from mine. I disagree. Okay.
Austin's very maybe because my thought process is Austin is very much a get off my lawn type of guy, so he's probably gonna come in here, flamethrow everybody. I don't know. I'm torn on all this. I don't think what the Notre Dame AD has been saying and I guess kind of complaining about and everything is necessarily wrong, but I also don't think he's right. I think both things can be true at once. I mean, I get why he's mad at the ACC. Also kind of on you for scheduling the opponents that you have. And someone on this show from the very beginning said they were not going to make the playoffs because of those 2 losses at the beginning of the season. Might rhyme with like Matt Bruening. I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure that's what it rhymes with. And he talked about it quite often. So I do feel a little vindicated there. It does also suck for them because I don't know. I was listening to the Cover 3 guys, and they were talking about Notre Dame is a school that had they been in it, had a chance to win it. I don't know that I agree with that, but they sure
I do.
Oh, okay, well, fine. That's
I mean, just as much as everybody else. I don't even look at Indiana as like the clear favorite or Georgia.
I don't either, but
Ohio State. I think everybody's kind of in the same boat. And
I don't disagree with you, but those 3 schools you mentioned specifically, I would have at least a tier, like not like tier 3 Notre Dame, but I would have those 3 in like tier 1. Notre Dame would be in tier 2. What I was going to say before I was just rudely interrupted by my co-host here was that I think they have a better chance than Ole Miss, Tulane, who was the other one? JMU. Probably Oklahoma, definitely Oklahoma. I mean, Alabama's interesting. I do think they are a team that probably you can make the argument for. So I do feel bad for them being left out. And I don't blame them for sitting out of the bowl game. This is kind of the repercussion of what we did, or I shouldn't say I wasn't a part of this decision, but what happened with them going to the playoffs and making it all about that. And at this point in time, Jeremiah Love was going to sit out. Anybody else who's thinking about going to the NFL is going to sit out of these bowl games. If I'm Marcus Freeman, why do I want to send my guys out there to play in a game that they don't care about, risk a bunch of players getting injured when they do have a chance to probably make a run for a playoff run and national championship again next year? Again, it sucks for them because they were in the national championship last year. I think that sure, they could have competed for one. They would not have been a favorite for me. I think they deserve to be in over Miami. Again, Tulane, JMU, even Oklahoma, and you could, I think, argue Alabama as well. And the main thing I really hate about this is which I think they called out as well. So I'll give our boy Kirk, who I know is backstage. So I'm giving you your props now, Kirk, and we're going to talk about it when we bring you on. Calling out the
thanks.
Thank you, Kirk. Yeah, and I forgot what your dog's name is again, but hey,
Peter.
Buddy. Peter. Hey, Peter. But my Fido's right now, he just ran off that way. Anyways, I think I'm glad that they called out the committee for just the absolute what about having Notre Dame ranked so high every single week, and then for them to get jumped by a team that didn't play, and then also by a team that lost in championship week. And I understand we don't punish teams for losing a championship week. You got blown out by Georgia. So I feel bad for Notre Dame, but I do also get it. And I think it's kind of on them for some of the decisions they've made, also by just not being in a conference, because that's the other thing, right? They get to have their cake and eat it too at times with making the playoffs, keep all their money and everything else. So I kind of get it. I
did not mind the Notre Dame campaigning against the whole playoff at first, and then now it's just too much. Now it's like, all right, guys, relax. You guys kind of did this to yourself. The whole blaming the ACC is funny because they're not even full participants of the ACC. So why would they care about you over Miami? That I feel like that's an obvious one.
Especially because in the opposite situation, Notre Dame would throw them under the bus in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think Matt, you were pretty much spot on. Do they deserve to be in just from a pure talent perspective? I should say maybe are they one of the 12 best teams? Yes. Do they deserve to be in? Maybe. But the whole problem with the whole thing was the way that the committee went about it. If this the end results were fine, but the way we got here was ridiculous and none of it made any sense. Punishing BYU and not, dropping them, but leaving Bama at 9 made no sense.
I disagree with that.
They're a little bit different, but you can't tell me that losing by 22, you should stay at 9 still. It makes no sense.
They're different, but it should be the same. They're different. You have to treat them differently.
Different, but same.
So everything that was already said by Matt, I pretty much agree with. The thing I hate the most about the whole playoff is all the rematches. That stuff annoys me. You could easily mix some of these things around to avoid some rematch. Why are we watching Tulane play against Ole Miss again?
Yeah, it's a fair question.
They didn't want to put Notre Dame in.
I think Notre Dame fans have a complaint with how they shot Notre Dame up too high and then kind of trapped themselves in this situation where I don't think that they were ever going to, like, they let the ACC champ in. They let the best team in the ACC in. It wasn't the champ of the conference.
That's not the champ then. They let the best team in. That's not the champ.
There's some politics involved with it, and I think once you are willing to accept that, whether you think it's right or wrong, like, I don't know that this was the incorrect decision. Do I think that Notre Dame is probably better than at least 2 or 3 of the teams, not including the teams that get auto bids? Like, I don't have any problem with the auto bids. Like, you got a whole season to get your way into this thing. If you can't do it, then whatever. So I don't have any real problem. Like, I get why you would argue with that. The college football owes us type attitude on a lot of this stuff is really just what, like, is the annoying part for me. Like, you wonder why everybody hates you. It's because of situations like
that.
It's I mean, you're a school that has all these old rivalries that you insist on playing, but most of them are so one-sided that realistically, like, Navy's won 4 of the last 50 Notre Dame Navy matchups. Like, if you're serious about beefing up your resume and beefing up your schedule, because the only 2 you played 3 teams with the Pulse and you won 1 of them, not great for the resume. So I, that part, like, you guys, I mean, I hate Notre Dame. I've been trying not to get caught up in that in my reaction to this. It's just, I think it's embarrassing at a certain level. The AD going out and pimping himself out on these shows and crying, and it's embarrassing. I would be embarrassed. And I think it's embarrassing. I mean, you get 15 extra practices, a bunch of time. I mean, they lose a lot of key pieces of this team. You don't think some of these guys that are behind them, it'd be good to get them some reps in practice? Jeremiah Love's not playing. Maybe Jadarian Price isn't playing. You don't think it would be good to get Aeneas Williams and Nolan James and whoever else some reps and some practice, and whoever the next tight end is, the next wide receivers behind Fields and whoever else. I mean, it's stuff like that. I think it's just you're hurting yourself to prove a point. You're like my 2-year-old who's throwing a fit and throwing everything because she's not getting what she wanted. So I don't know.
What do you think about the fact that next year they're auto in if they get top 16 or whatever?
I don't have a problem with this, and I think everyone's overreacting to it because the easiest thing in the world is just for the committee to put them 13th and then say, "Ooh, you weren't top 12. Sorry, you don't get an auto bid." Yeah. Like, if in the same situation, they now know what the target number is, and now you can play around with that target number a lot more than when it's a little more nebulous. So all you have to do is say, Notre Dame's 13th. Sorry, that doesn't mean you're automatically in. We'll judge you on the merits of your whatever.
If they could drop you this year for not playing in that final week, they sure as heck drop you again. So that part doesn't matter. The only reason I disagree with the extra practices and the bowl games thing again is you just don't want any, like, because I get it. I'm so torn on this because, like, I don't want to see players opting out, or specifically full teams opting. I kind of get Iowa State's. I don't really get Kansas State's. I guess it's
teams
because
have been playing bowl games without their head coach for decades. I do not understand this.
I'll give Iowa State some, because I think he's some reports are he's taking a lot of his staff too. So, like, I don't know what that looks like. Iowa State, Kansas State, I agree with you. Like, it's their head coach is retiring. Get over it. Everybody else is still there. Anyways, with Notre Dame, I get it from the sense of, again, you don't want to lose a player for what at the end of the day is a game that means nothing, at least to them, right? Like, I think some of the players would enjoy it. You hear players talk about all the time when they go to these bowl games, and it's such a great experience for them. So, like, I get both sides of it. I don't think there's a right or wrong answer because, again, I think Jeremiah Love and a lot of those guys that they're going to lose would have opted out anyways. They were not going to play in some bowl games. So I do agree with you. Like, yeah, it's going to give you a chance to see what you may have next year. But then again, you also don't want to risk. I mean, if Carr were to get hurt, you're screwed.
I mean,
for
you
next
can get
season.
hurt at any time playing full. Like it's just like
True,
you
but
know,
you have a better
hazard of the
chance.
job. You know,
You have a better
I-
chance of that by playing in a game than
I have
not.
to cross the street to get to the train station to go into work every day, and I have to go into the office tomorrow.
And you're a below
I
average
could get
walker.
there's no
We have no idea.
crosswalk. It's it's not a well lit street. I could get hit by a car tomorrow. I mean, it's the same. It's just a occupational hazard.
Yeah, the only problem there, Matt, is that literally applies to every single team that's in the bowl season.
I don't disagree.
So like, BYU, you can guarantee Bear Bachmeier is going to play, and he rolled his ankle or whatever against Texas Tech. So like, it just applies to everybody. I think the only teams that really should get should get kind of like the benefit of the doubt are the ones that went 5-7. We're not going to be in a bowl game, and then 2 weeks later, someone's like, "Hey, do you want to play in a bowl game?" And it's like, well, like half the team hasn't practiced for 2 weeks, or like people are doing different things. So from that angle, I don't have any issue with it. If you were bowl eligible and like could have easily and would have easily gone to a bowl game, like you shouldn't be opting out. Like the Marshall stuff last year, that made sense because they didn't have enough players to make it literally field a team. Like from a safety perspective, you have 45 players, you can't play a game. But if you have 75 players, like you should be doing this. What are we doing? Especially in this NIL day where everybody's getting paid.
I mean, I don't disagree with you. As I said, I see both sides of the argument. If I were a player for Notre Dame, I would be pissed because I would want to play in a bowl game. Because again, you especially, if you're talking about Colin Decker level athleticism, that may be your only chance to, get to do something. Sorry, Colin, I'm taking a lot of shots at you. I love you, buddy. Well, I want to see I don't know if it's actually in the athleticism database. I want to see what he said was supposedly listed as a good athlete. It's gonna make me go out there and time.
There's a 0% chance that based on his metrics that he's listed as a good athlete.
I will be listed as a better athlete than him at 38. But anyways, like this may be some of their players' only chance to do stuff like this. So I don't disagree with you, but I also don't think you can blame a school for choosing to do it, especially when there is specifically for Notre Dame, there's no penalty. They don't lose anything by doing this. Them, quote unquote, picking their ball up and going home, they don't lose it. Like at least Iowa State and Kansas State are getting fined $500,000 or what is it $500,000? $500,000, whatever it's $500,000. Like they're at least getting some kind of consequence. Notre Dame's getting nothing. Like if you want it to be that big of a deal, then why don't you put something? You back out of a bowl game for a reason we don't think it's a 1-year playoff ban or whatever. There's ways that they could go about doing this, but they haven't. There's no repercussions whatsoever for them making this decision. So why would you? And I mean,
it is the Pop-Tarts Bowl, which is
the greatest bowl game.
I was just gonna say, like, if it's not a playoff game, I consider the Pop-Tarts Bowl one of the elite options to play in.
I agree.
Just as God.
The only with that being said, what I truly hope, because I don't know if there's been this reported at all, so one of you can tell me. I truly hope that when they decided to make this decision, they actually talked to the players and got their opinions before they did it.
They said that this is what the players wanted. They held a vote, but I also think if your coach gets up foaming at the mouth and kind of gets everybody on this train of like we were screwed, like that's that kind of whatever is not surprising. If the coach gets up and gives we're going to go out there and we're going to show them speech, the vote would magically flip completely the opposite way.
Yeah.
And again, I don't know if they had to make that decision that quickly, but you're also asking these 18 to 22-year-old, I would still say kids, to make this decision right after they just got their hearts broken. What happened?
I said Indiana is 24-25. Those are men.
Okay, fine, whatever. I disagree. I've been told men's frontal development lobes don't really happen until like 28, so they're still kids in my eyes. You're asking them to make that decision right after getting their hearts broken and then finding out they don't get a chance to possibly win a national championship. I consider myself a very emotionally intelligent, very down to earth, just a chill guy. All right, I would probably make the same decision in that moment. I'd be like,
I'm just saying, like I think the temperature of the coach dictates how that vote goes.
So. Yeah, I agree. It's how would you ever? I mean, like some of these guys that want to play next year, they're not going to disagree with the coach that they're going to try to be playing for next year. I wouldn't surprise me at all if that was their mindset.
I was told that we're going to talk transfer portal next. I don't know which direction you guys want to take this. you want to talk about players that are already in the portal, players that we think are going to enter the portal? What were we hoping to get out of this transfer portal discussion?
Matt, you're the one that suggested it. What do you think?
And just real quick.
Oh, I thought we were going to talk about the best options in the transfer portal.
We're getting
I think we talk people that are in the portal currently. Thoughts on them would be
just real quick. We are getting a lot of John Gruden to Michigan. I think anybody that would hire John Gruden in college football is in to just absolutely embarrass their program for the next 3 to 5 years. So
with a very appropriate name, things are questionable.
There was one at the top of the show too. So I'm not singling anybody out here.
Rudes.
I would like to say, as possibly an Ohio State Buckeyes fan, again, love all of college football. I'd love it. I'm here for it. Here for John Gruden to that team up north.
Yeah,
we can do whatever. We can pivot to awards if you'd like, Austin.
Well, I mean, who in the portal is interesting right now? So Martin says Marquise Davis actually just entered in today. The Missouri true freshman running back. He is a guy that we really, really like.
Yeah.
Matt, do you want to? I mean, Matt, Colin and I talked about him as like a guy that go by late in the season and C2C and Debbie and CFF leagues. He's a good player.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be curious to see where he ends up going. Martin here, if you're listening on the podcast, says could have a Justice Haynes level rise if he goes to the right place. I agree. I don't know where that right place would be right now. Trying to think of like what maybe the top spots would be. If
where I would love.
Where?
Lane Kiffin and LSU.
I want Kewan Lacy together. I actually think he'd be fine. I think Caden Durham and Harlan Berry will be just fine for Lane Kiffin. I guessed it on a podcast last night. We had a whole discussion about the possible LSU backfield. I think if Kewan Lacy goes, he's going to be. But I mean, Caden Durham and Harlan Berry are very good as well. I think they'll be fine. Whichever way Lane Kiffin goes. But yes, if he goes to Lane Kiffin, I think he'd have a phenomenal year.
You want that room to thin out a little bit, though, if it does.
Well,
like Caleb Jackson?
Johnson already entered, right? Is that their other running back? It has like an apostrophe in the name somewhere.
The quarterback, running back guy?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he entered.
Concerned about that. Yeah, I'm more concerned about. I would want Durham gone and Berry.
I mean,
going too.
Berry, I think is going to be interesting because I don't think Lane Kiffin really plays with a tiny satellite back like ever. So it is going to be interesting to see. I think Harlan Berry's days could already be numbered there. That's going to be an interesting one to watch for me at least. But
I mean, he seems to love himself some Kewan Lacy. All it takes is Ole Miss to get knocked out by Tulane in the first round.
Well, he's already done the Ole Miss reject route, and it's worked out really well for him. Mm-hmm. I think Davis was a better prospect at a high school than Lacy was. I know you were a little higher on Lacy.
Not a little. I was a lot higher, but
What about CJ Baxter? Where do you think he would end up, generally speaking?
Florida State. Does he just go back home?
He's
not going to Florida.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
He's not good.
USF? Brian Hartline? Brian Hartline calls you answering the phone?
That USF would make a lot of sense.
Do you think G5 then?
I mean, I think he'll want to go P4, and I think he'll certainly get P4 phone calls. He's been terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think he could blame it on stuff. He was like a freshman, and then he could blame it on an injury. I think you could easily spin that. I mean, come on. I'm not even smart enough I can spin that. He was coming back from an injury. I mean, how often does it take a year plus for a guy that had pretty decent knee injury to?
He wasn't good as a freshman either, though.
Well, but he was a freshman. SEC.
That's not an excuse anymore with what we've seen freshmen do.
Okay, I'm going to just completely go out of left field here. What was Kewan Lacy's yards per carry in the SEC? Because Kewan Lacy is not some super efficient runner. Like
he did nothing his freshman year.
No, I mean this year. His numbers from an efficiency standpoint are not that.
All I know is he set the Ole Miss touchdown record.
So 5.0 in an elite offense at Ole Miss. I mean, come on. We're not like reaching here to say that he couldn't get. I mean, what was Ole Miss's offensive ranking this year?
I would argue it wasn't elite.
Well, it was top 15, right?
Good, yeah.
Sure. I would reserve
CJ Baxter as a freshman. CJ Baxter as a freshman ran 4.8 yards per carry.
That
almost all of it came on
thank you.
That sneak play.
Just saying.
One carry. It all came on one carry.
I'm just saying. Keywan Lacey has a game of 2.6, 3.8, 3.8, 2.6, 2.9 yards per carry this year. Like,
okay, but here's the difference. Keywan Lacey is like at least explosive. I'd be curious if you could outrun CJ Baxter with a walker, Chris. Like CJ Baxter lost all of the explosiveness. He's not. Look, I was a big Baxter.
I'm not even like a huge Baxter guy. I'm just saying like it's not hard at all to defend Baxter landing at a P4 spot. It wouldn't be hard at all to write off those 2 years. That's all.
Yeah. I don't disagree with that premise at all. He's not looked good at all. I don't know. I think he's a guy that's probably going to want a decent amount of money. It's going to be interesting to see what he's willing to play for next year.
What about this is CFF impact, Colton Joseph, quarterback from ODU.
What do you think is the appropriate level for him?
Like low to mid tier P, like low tier mid P4. Like go to like a bad P4 team.
It's kind of where my head was at as well. He's just a little chaotic.
Yeah.
But so is Diego Pavia. So
he screams, I want to go somewhere to like prove I'm an NFL guy, which is very scary to me as someone that, plays CFF. Like that's like the worst case scenario. Don't go to Wisconsin and just like, or Stanford and run like a real offense. Like go somewhere fun, please.
Low end. I mean, Brett's not right. He's from California, right? It's Arizona State. And they need a quarterback.
UCLA needs a guy.
I don't think Nico's leaving, though.
I'm just kidding. Nico's not going anywhere.
Yeah. I mean, Arizona State wouldn't be a bad one. I don't think. I mean, again, he's from the California area. I'm trying to think. I mean, obviously, he's not going USC.
Arizona will need a new quarterback.
Yeah.
If he's a West Coaster. I don't know who's reaching out to him, but
Oregon State could make some sense, like a school like that.
Yeah.
It would make some sense.
Oregon State could be a lot of fun.
So.
Does Malik Murphy have another year?
God, probably, but
I was gonna say I think he does.
He might. He was at Duke for 1 year. He was at Texas for 2, but one of them would have been a red shirt.
Red shirt, yeah.
And then
he's definitely got a year.
And then he was at Oregon State last year.
Yeah.
Nice. We need more Malik Murphy.
Oregon State apparently has no money, and I know Malik Murphy takes up a large percentage of that. So would it be shocking if they hit him with the thanks for playing, don't let the door hit you, kind of like Duke did? That's going to be an interesting one to watch. He's terrible too, but I don't know. And the portal is still young. I mean, I think really like Marsh. Marsh, Baxter, Dylan Edwards, like those are kind of like the guys in there right now.
I mean, are we really excited about where Dylan Edwards goes? I was a big Dylan Edwards fan, but at this point,
I mean, I could be, but he's kind of cycled through some of the spots that you would think would have been good and didn't really work super well. So I think, maybe he's learned a little bit, some maturity issues, perhaps. I don't know.
I think that's probably way more CFF potential than anything else.
Well, yeah.
With Dylan Edwards. Yeah. What about, obviously he's like 5'4". What about on tomorrow's Balling with the Bestie, my bestie, I talk about maybe the most impactful potential transfer situation of all.
Gene White?
Texas Tech running back room.
Oh, yeah.
From a CFF standpoint, like we cannot let that happen. Joyner, Williams, and Dickey, that can't happen. We need to separate those three.
Someone will leave. I know Texas Tech has like a money printer in the basement, but it feels like a lot of money to spend on 3 running backs, right? So because they're all going to get raises. Well, not Joyner, but the other 2 will get raises.
Which one leaves? And where do you think he goes?
I mean, I think the easy answer is Joyner, right?
Yeah.
I think I'm going to say Dickey. I think Dickey was kind of a stopgap. Just more like, I think you want to talk about maybe like the same Keywan Lacey situation. Like Joyner's got more burst probably as long as the injury is fine.
Well, weren't you just talking about how long it takes to come back from knee injuries and they're going to have to rely on that?
It doesn't fit. I'm not I am not Quentin Joyner's
We're arguing the opposite side now.
representative. I was the representative for CJ Baxter.
Yeah.
You could spin whatever you got to spin as long as it fits the narrative, Austin. You know the deal.
Joyner may not want to share backfield either.
Yeah.
That's another possibility. I don't know.
It doesn't feel like Dickey and Joyner would work together. Like Jacoby feels like the perfect second guy to one of those two.
Joyner is like a dynamic. He's not Jacoby Williams. He's also a little bigger than Jacoby. I mean, Jacoby Williams, he's basically like the if it's like a scale, he's like the guy in the middle of the options, right? Like Dickey's kind of like on the thumper side. Williams is kind of on like the scat back side, and then Joyner's kind of in the middle. He's kind of the most well-rounded of the three.
Yeah, they were calling him a 3-down back.
I think he definitely is. So I guess it just depends on his health, and he's a Texas kid, right? Because that's why he went back to Texas Tech.
Joyner, yeah.
So
what about Sam Levitt? Is it just LSU? Is that the easy?
Is that like confirmed?
That he's
in the portal?
Yeah.
Didn't Dillingham
tweet it out? He's not listed on any of the sites in the transfer portal. I mean, Kenny Dillingham flat out came out and was like, "You guys are going to get a great leader." All this other stuff. I'd assume. I assume he tweeted that out. He's pretty in the know, I would think. So
he's talked to him a few times.
I would. I don't know. I'm curious as to where he would go.
Did you guys think that him not showing up? But Colin and I talked about this. Him not showing up to that dinner is like real unprofessional, right?
It is unprofessional, but it's whatever at this point. But I defend the kid. So
team captain, starting quarterback, just kind of says like double barrel middle fingers and just pieces out.
Here's the thing.
It feels a little inappropriate.
No longer team captain, no longer their quarterback. So I don't know why he would go to the dinner. You know,
they won like 7 games, 8 games. So it's not like they're going to go back and like celebrate some. I mean, it's definitely he should have definitely gone. But it's not like the craziest thing in the world. I mean, they're all 20-year-olds.
It's a better look if he would have showed up. But like, if
you're getting paid now. I'm going to be a little less forgiving on the niceties, the formalities of the sport.
Hang on, hold up. I don't disagree with you. Was he getting paid to go to the dinner though? Exactly.
That's an ancillary obligation.
I disagree. Nowhere in my contract does it say I need to go.
Maybe
to this
so.
dinner.
You know what? Maybe, they can't do pay to play, but maybe they put the entire fee contingent on showing up to the year-end dinner.
Well, then he's screwed at that point. Then he's screwed at that point. He screwed himself. So, again, then I applaud him. He's sticking up for himself and his morals over the money. Good for you, Sam.
We're getting creative on these contracts here, okay? We're gonna see what we can come up with here. I love the ways they tie these kids to those schools. It's very, very interesting to me. I don't know, any other names you guys want to float? Kenny Minchey is rated as the top QB in the portal right now.
It gives London Humphreys vibes, doesn't it?
Minchey?
Like the fact that it was like, why is this guy like the number 2 player in the portal? Yeah. Like, remember when
I forgot about that.
I know where you were going with that, and that's not who I am, Austin.
Anymore.
As
after your snafu
podcast, probably, yeah. Starting Friday.
Where would you like to see Minchey go? Because he was a guy that we were a fan of in his recruiting class a couple years ago.
Yeah, liked him quite a bit.
Where would you like to see him go? Obviously, you can't, go back to Pitt. You guys have Heisman Heinschel. I actually don't. Minchey's from the California area too, right? If I'm remembering correctly.
I thought he was from like the South. I thought he was from like Kentucky or Tennessee or something.
I think he might have actually been closer to the Pennsylvania area.
He's from Hendersonville, Tennessee.
Oh, interesting. Well, he's not going to Tennessee.
Diego Pavea replacement?
No,
he's like tiny, right? Like he's real thin.
Minchey?
Isn't he?
He's listed at 208. I don't know. I don't know. We haven't seen him in like a real game in how long?
I feel like I saw like him in practice.
He's got skinny legs.
And was like, wow, that guy is thin.
But not like skinny in general. Thin legs.
Yeah, I don't think Pitt would work out anymore. Pitt's got a guy in the upcoming class they really like too. So
I feel like those schools mentioned are way too high.
Boston College has been floated.
Feels bad.
Yeah, I saw Warner getting entered the portal.
I do think a school like Kentucky, I think Kentucky can afford to get a little weird with who they pick a QB if they're not sold on Cutter Boley, with Stein coming in there, and I think he has a picture of what he wants.
Haven't the reports been my boy Novosad?
I have only read that from people that are still somehow clinging on to the lifeless corpse of Austin Novosad on the door as the Titanic sinks into the sea in the background.
There is room. There is room on this board for others if y'all want to get on.
It's me.
That's the only places I've heard that one.
That's not true. I know when my boy J. Michael Valerie, I believe, posted that as well. And he's our Kentucky insider. He just joined us on the show a couple weeks ago. And not that none of us got fired, so my assumption is you didn't listen to that show, Austin.
Not yet.
Don't at this point.
Yeah, please don't. It's way deep into the episode. You don't want to watch that.
Yeah.
It's funny because someone had mentioned it to me, and I listened to the first 15, 20 minutes, and I was like, oh,
I didn't do anything
bad's happened yet. So, and I haven't finished the episode yet.
We recorded like the day after. For those who don't know, we record the official with Matt usually on Thursday. So we were talking, and there was some bringing on J. Michael Valerie was not questionable innuendos and other things mentioned on that show.
We are not that kind of company.
No, we're not. You know, I learned my lesson. No longer if Mike jumps in the back room, I invite him on.
Strongly condemns anything that was said on that show.
Agree.
Do you think there will be a surprise portal name? How about that?
Yes.
Anybody?
Yes.
I think it'd be multiple.
That was like a leading question for you to give.
I don't do good with leading questions. I'm one of those I'm like a Ron Burgundy type. You gotta spell it out for me. I'm a dum-dum. Go ahead, Austin. You got a name off the top of your head? I'll think of one real quick.
I mean, Bryce Underwood comes to mind right now. I don't know. So we have spoken to somebody that I think would know pretty well on this. A lot, at least in the initial offer of Underwood's compensation, was tied to stock in Oracle. And I don't know what that looks like in terms of, are these options? Do they vest after a certain amount? Like, I don't know. So there might be, he might have, for all we know, he played basically for free because he's counting on these stock options in 3. I don't know.
This is like when guys are getting paid in crypto or whatever.
Yes. So, well, at least as long as it's not like, what do they call, like shit coins or meme coins? I don't do crypto. I bought my first $25 of Bitcoin a couple weeks ago when it was crashing. So, or like a week ago. So
somebody had told me that he may be essentially locked into Michigan based off of the NIL. But
that would be one that,
it makes sense.
What about Brendan Sorsby?
Wouldn't that be shocking?
Well, I mean, no one's really talked about it.
I feel like it would be.
Why hasn't he?
I would be more surprised if he was still at Cincinnati next year than if he was either in the NFL or somewhere else.
Okay. So you're saying lukewarm? Okay, I apologize.
I'm just saying. Who's lukewarm? I don't know that name.
Troy.
What about? Ooh,
I'd believe that.
Can I pull on the string a little bit? Like something else has to happen for this to happen.
Sure.
If Jed Fish goes to Michigan, Damon Williams, because I don't think he'd follow him either to Michigan if Bryce Underwood's there. I think Damon.
Name the most anti-Michigan quarterback you could think of, and how and why is it Damon Williams?
Why?
No, that's what I'm saying. I don't think he would follow. I don't think he would follow Jed Fish to Michigan.
Like 12 years?
A long time ago. That was like the last NCAA game. So a long time
it's just what I'm like, I don't know. We can't be like the most anti-Michigan quarterback ever when like potentially the best guy to ever wear the helmet was
fair. I have watched a lot of John O'Korn and Jake Rudock, and so it's just kind of
you can't
burn that up my brain. Yeah, unfortunately.
You can't make me.
I mean,
do you think Keelan Russell would follow DeBoer anywhere?
No.
Is there a connection to DeBoer or is there a connection to Bama? That's always kind of a question,
if Ty
right?
Simpson comes back, I think he very potentially enters.
I don't. I think he beats out Ty Simpson, then Simpson enters and then goes to the G6 where he belongs. But on the go ahead.
So let me wrap this up real quick. Put in a bow and then put it in the atmosphere. Simpson stinks. They lose. DeBoer takes the Michigan job. Keelan Russell, quarterback, Michigan. Bryce Underwood.
Why? Bryce Underwood's better.
Goes to LSU. How about that?
I think DeBoer would be. I don't know that he would be. If DeBoer was going to Michigan, I think his first phone call would be to Bryce Underwood and not to Keelan.
Yeah, I agree.
That would just be a suspicion that I would have.
I agree. I don't know why you guys are wanting to get rid of Bryce Underwood so bad.
It was just some throwing stuff.
Did you see what was around him this year?
Yeah, I mean, this is like Nick Saban.
I'm not anti Bryce Underwood. I'm just pro chaos.
I think if any one of the Alabama quarterbacks enters the portal, it's going to be a Ty Simpson because he's booty cheeks. And I'm glad that thanks Chris Moxley. When you listen to this, thank you for finally owning up to that in the company Slack. I appreciate that. I didn't respond.
He said he hadn't been good the past few weeks. He didn't say that he.
No, he did.
Player.
Go back and read the message. He said Ty Simpson something. He was good for the first 4 weeks, and then something. But I had been drinking at a party. So
what happened to the Matt Bruening who doesn't drink?
Colombian.
Do we need to have an intervention?
We went to Mexico and turned him.
In Vegas. We'll have an intervention in Vegas when I walk into the room.
You and me. It's gonna be you and me.
Hey, Austin, what is this? No, you can have Colin and Jarek and everybody on the computers. Like, hey, everybody, we having a company meeting. What's going on? I'll be all excited. I don't know that these are surprising, but Sellers. Do we think so? I mean, I know they just hired. I don't remember who it is they hired, but.
Kendall Briles.
Does he enter?
I don't think the Briles hire is as bad as people are making it out to be.
I don't think it's bad.
I want that on the record. What do we think the odds are that he just goes to the NFL?
I think very high. If they valued
Really?
Anthony Richardson, whereas I mean Lenore Sellers is on that level of athlete, I think he's a much better passer than what Richardson was coming out. So, like, I think if he goes, like, I really do think that he's going to get probably – I think there's a chance that they're like, yes, we would take you. If he does the draft grade thing and, like, we'll take you in the top 10 picks, like, why would you want to come back at that point?
You're not wrong, but is there at a certain point NFL is going to say, you know what, like maybe we should stop taking these Anthony Richardson types?
I don't know how that draft advisory committee works.
Yeah.
Like, he definitely has the skill set, like the talent, the dynamic, right, to fit that. Didn't do anything significant in college, but still get picked top 5. Especially in this QB class, I definitely agree.
Yeah,
I think
because right now it's.
I just think as like a college football zeitgeist, have to be more comfortable with saying that something was a throwaway year for some of these guys.
Yeah,
like I think this year for most of the guys on South Carolina was just a throwaway year. I think this year for most of the guys on LSU was a throwaway year. Like I think we just need to be a little more. I know these guys only have 4 years to play, so we're so hesitant to do that. But at the pro level, we don't mind saying it. I don't know why we have such an issue with these guys saying, this was just due to the circumstances and their totality. This was just kind of a throwaway year. I'm not gonna kill guys for whatever happened.
I don't have the numbers in front of me, but I was doing this for the show this week, and his performance under the original play caller was like QB 65, and then the 3 games without that play caller, it was QB 4, and it wasn't led by rushing stuff. He threw for like 280 or 300 a game. Like it was significantly different. So I think the throwaway year makes a lot of sense, and there's probably more value in the final 3 games than the first 9. As much of a small sample size can be tough.
Yeah, I mean, again, I think he's a much better passer than Richardson was. I think with that, oh man, what was I gonna say? We're not talking about that, T-Bit. Sorry.
We spent the first about
25
minutes of the show talking about that. So I would go back to the beginning and listen. We've got you covered. I promise.
Yeah. What were we talking about with Sellers? The problem is, and I don't pay as close attention to the NFL as I used to. There's a lot of teams that need quarterbacks, though. And again, right now you're looking at just Mendoza as the first round quarterback. That's it. No, you're good, T-Bit.
It's all good. It just we talked for a lot about it. No, it just makes you chuckle when those comments pop up.
Yeah, you did nothing wrong. That we just talked about earlier. Yeah, I mean, at this point, if he does decide to come out, I think I don't want to say he's locked into a first round draft pick, but I mean, Sellers has got to be. I would take him over Mendoza just because of, again, the upside there. I mean, you know what you're getting with Mendoza. I'm just kidding.
I'm just kidding.
I was going to say, with the performance or the interview?
Yeah, the interview. Nah. It's always the interviews. Those are the kinds of guy Austin likes. The team guys. No, I don't think Mendoza's bad. I just think he's going to end up being a game manager at the NFL level. Like the upside with Sellers is just so much massive. What about this? Is one that I would hate to see go, but I do think is possible. I don't know if he actually would. Houston Longstreet, if Maava comes back and is the starter.
That would be fun.
I mean, I think we're going to get a whole like underclass of these freshmen from this year rotating schools. We've gotten it the past couple years. I don't see any reason to not have that continue, especially depending on who returns and whatnot. So
I can't imagine Maeva going to the NFL. We've talked about this. So like to me, I think one of those.
Wasn't he mocked in the first round recently?
No,
or no, number one overall.
We talked about
right,
he had like a number one overall betting odd. Yeah. One of those guys feels like they're going to be gone. So I would be interesting to see which one goes. And I think it's very possible that one of those is gone though.
Like would it shock anybody if Tavian St. Clair, Longstreet, Deuce Knight, Keelan Russell, and Bryce Baker, 3 of those guys hit the portal?
No, I would not put St. Clair in there personally.
Well,
just with
Ryan Day has some sort of voodoo on that crap.
Yes.
I don't understand how that works, but
Day, whatever blackmail Day gets on these kids, he gets them to stay. And saying if he performs even close to what he did this year, I think he goes to the NFL after next season. And I think it's St. Clair's job. So he's the one I wouldn't put in there. But yeah, I could easily see all of those guys, specifically Bryce Baker, with what UNC did this year. And did they even give him a chance? He never even touched the field, right?
No, they put what's his name in that last game.
Yeah, then I would, if I were him, I'd be in the portal now.
Newkirk, right? They put Newkirk in.
Yeah, not old Kirk, Newkirk. I'd be out the door.
Speaking of Kirk, we ran out of time. No,
that'd have been the perfect way to end the show. You should have ran with it.
Well, CU Tiger has a good one from chat. Dylan Raiola is obviously gone, right? Like the tea leaves are pointing to him leaving, right? Between the
that would be my
uncle
guess.
Or whatever being fired, and then
his
brother. Texas Tech. I mean,
his brother's not a legitimate prospect, for the record. And Nebraska is like the one school that they can't mess around with the free scholarships to people, because they've always done that stupid thing where they have like 80 walk-ons and one of them turns out to be a long snapper 4 years later, and they're all super happy about it. And they have to get rid of all those guys now because you can't have walk-ons anymore. So they're like slowly cutting down like the amount of players. It's like Nebraska's like the one school that can't just be like, yeah, we'll give your brother a free scholarship. And his brother is like not even an FBS level player. He's not good at all. I mean, Buford, like he's their QB this year, and Buford wasn't good, I don't think. Like not their usual,
which is surprising. They are usually very good.
They weren't crap,
it was his uncle Brett. They fired his uncle, the offensive line coach.
So
would you take him at Texas Tech over Hammond though?
Texas Tech strikes me as wanting somebody who's a little more mobile, because they're big. If you can move Morton off his spot this year, they're effed offensively, just like straight up. And
Hammond was good as a rusher too. He made some pretty big plays with his legs. So
I don't know how tied they are to Hammond. Well, Hammond allegedly might be missing all of next year anyway. Is somewhat the rumor. So,
by the way, I think Buford won the state championship.
Wait, did they? I saw it was Carrollton and somebody else.
Well, they lost in the state championship because they played Carrollton. Well, they played Carrollton next week.
Oh, so they did get far. They weren't doing that great in the regular season.
They were 14-0.
We're not talking about Buford, Georgia. We're talking about Buford, Mississippi. Chris K, get it together.
Duh.
Chris probably knows.
That's our bad.
He's like, there's no Buford, Mississippi.
It's right down the street. What are you talking about? They parties all the time. I go, our bad.
My high school ended up Elite Eight. They lost to Valdosta.
I thought Carrollton already won.
I don't think so.
No, I think a lot of the state championships are like right now.
Oh, I thought they were all like mostly last weekend. I know like Corner Canyon and St. Francis were playing tonight.
Joe Tessitore on the game is pretty interesting, like in a good way. Like a real commentator. I think that's cool.
What's going on in that game, by the way? Anybody know?
No, my phone died.
I'm busy. I'm currently doing something.
Yeah, I'm working, Austin. Jeez.
All right. Well, I think that's going to do it for tonight's show then. Apologies to Kirk. We did run out of time. Talked to transfer portal a little too long, so we'll get him rescheduled. Check out all the other shows on the podcast feed here from Matt, from Chris, and from Austin. Good night. Good luck.